Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between the tallest mountains and the widest rivers, there lived a brave and kind-hearted princess named Aveline. Her kingdom, Eldoria, was a place of peace and prosperity. But beneath its tranquil surface, trouble stirred. The crops were failing, the rivers were drying up, and the once vibrant forests were slowly withering away. People whispered that the kingdom was under a curse, and every day Aveline saw the worry in her father, King Alistair's, eyes. One evening, as Aveline sat in her chambers, gazing out over the vast landscape of her kingdom, her trusted advisor, an old sage named Elias, approached her. "Your Highness," he began, "there is a legend, an ancient story of the Tower of Wishes. It is said to appear once every 100 years, and whoever climbs to the top may make one wish, a wish that will be granted no matter how great or impossible it may seem." Aveline turned to Elias, her eyes wide with hope. "Do you think it could save our kingdom?" Elias nodded slowly. "If the legend is true, then yes. But the journey to the tower is perilous, filled with trials and dangers. Many have sought it, but few have returned." Aveline stood, determination burning in her heart. "Then I will go. I must try for the sake of our people. Eldoria cannot wither and fade. I will find the tower and make a wish to save us all." The next morning, Aveline donned her armor, a gift from her mother, who had been a warrior queen, and set out on her journey. Accompanying her was her loyal companion, a silver wolf named Frost, and Elias, who insisted on guiding her. The legend said the Tower of Wishes could only be found when the stars aligned in a particular way, creating a path in the night sky. As they traveled through dense forests and over high mountains, they followed the stars each night, navigating by the constellations. Days turned into weeks, and the journey grew more challenging. They crossed treacherous rivers, navigated through shadowy valleys, and faced fierce storms. But Aveline never wavered. Her determination to save her kingdom kept her strong, and her bond with Frost and Elias grew deeper. One evening, as they reached the edge of the endless desert, a vast expanse of sand said to stretch beyond the horizon, Elias spoke of the first trial they would face. "In the heart of this desert lies the Valley of Illusions," he explained. "It is said that those who enter may never find their way out unless they can see through the deceptions of the mind." As they entered the valley, Aveline felt a strange sense of unease. The air shimmered, and the landscape began to shift and change. Mountains turned into rivers, forests appeared and vanished, and at times she even saw her home, Eldoria, just on the horizon. "Don't trust your eyes," Elias warned. "The valley plays tricks. Stay focused and remember why you are here." For hours, they wandered through the illusions, each step feeling more confusing than the last. Aveline saw visions of her father, her people, even herself standing in the distance, beckoning her to follow. But each time she began to falter, Frost would nudge her, guiding her back to the path. Finally, they reached the center of the valley, where a great stone arch stood. Beyond it, the illusions vanished, and they found themselves back on the true path. "You have passed the first trial, Princess," Elias said with a smile. "But the hardest is yet to come." Their journey continued, and soon they found themselves entering the Forest of Echoes, a place where the trees whispered and the wind carried voices from the past. It was here that Aveline would face her greatest fear, herself. As they walked deeper into the forest, the air grew colder and the whispers louder. Frost's ears twitched nervously, and even Elias seemed uneasy. Suddenly, a figure stepped out from the shadows. It was Aveline, or rather, a reflection of her, dressed in a dark, twisted version of her armor, her eyes cold and unforgiving. "Who are you?" Aveline demanded, drawing her sword. "I am your doubt," the dark reflection replied, her voice dripping with malice. "I am every fear you've ever had, every moment of hesitation, every time you wondered if you were enough. You think you can save your kingdom? You are nothing but a scared little girl playing at being a hero." Aveline's heart pounded in her chest, but she stood her ground. "I may have doubts, and I may be afraid, but I will not let that stop me. My people need me, and I will not fail them." The dark reflection sneered. "Then prove it." A fierce battle erupted between Aveline and her dark self. The reflection was fast, agile, and seemed to know her every move. But Aveline fought with all her strength, remembering the lessons her mother had taught her. She wasn't just fighting her reflection. She was fighting her own insecurities, her fears, and her doubts. With a final, powerful strike, Aveline shattered the reflection, which dissolved into mist. "You have conquered your fear," Elias said as the forest cleared. "The second trial is complete." At last, after weeks of travel, they reached the Tower of Wishes. It was a magnificent structure spiraling high into the clouds, its walls shimmering with an otherworldly light. The tower appeared only once every 100 years, and now it stood before them, waiting. "The final trial lies within," Elias said, bowing his head. "I cannot go with you, princess. This part of the journey you must face alone." Aveline nodded, her heart pounding with both fear and excitement. She took a deep breath, looked at Frost, who gave her a reassuring nudge, and entered the tower. Inside, the tower was filled with strange, shifting light. A narrow staircase spiraled upward, disappearing into the clouds. Aveline began her ascent, each step feeling heavier than the last. The tower seemed to test her resolve, with whispers of doubt and fear echoing around her. But she pressed on, driven by her love for her kingdom and her people. After what felt like an eternity, she reached the top of the tower, where a single glowing crystal hovered in the air. "The wish stone," she whispered. As she approached the stone, a voice echoed in the chamber. "Only the pure of heart may make a wish." "What is it that you seek, Princess Aveline?" Without hesitation, Aveline spoke. "I wish for my kingdom to be saved, for the crops to grow again, for the rivers to flow, and for the forests to be restored. I wish for my people to live in peace and prosperity once more." The wishstone glowed brighter, filling the room with light. "Your wish is granted," the voice said, and the light enveloped Aveline. When Aveline opened her eyes, she was back at the base of the tower, Frost by her side and Elias waiting for her. The tower had vanished, but she could feel the magic in the air. They made their way back to Eldoria, and as they crossed the border into the kingdom, they saw the rivers flowing once again, the crops growing tall and healthy, and the forests alive with vibrant greenery. The people rejoiced as they saw their princess return, knowing that she had saved them. King Alistair embraced his daughter, pride and love shining in his eyes. "You have done it, Aveline. You have saved our kingdom." Aveline smiled, her heart filled with joy. "I did not do it alone," she said, looking at Frost and Elias. "I had help from those I love." And so Eldoria was restored to its former glory, and Princess Aveline became known throughout the land as the brave princess who had climbed the Tower of Wishes and saved her people. But more than that, she became a symbol of hope, courage, and the power of believing in oneself. And the legend of the Tower of Wishes lived on, waiting for the next hero who would one day climb its heights to make a wish for the good of the world.